Gio Lopez is returning to South Alabama. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. All right, we will talk about the ramifications of the portal, and we'll do a little Wednesday night Sunbelt hoops as well. We'll see what's finals by the time we get to it. And before we get to Gio Lopez going back to the Jaguars, again, thank you so much. Maybe it is just the Charles Huff Marshall to Southern Miss story, and the podcast has taken off, but unbelievably so. I don't know what it says about the podcast, but we're going to have more views and downloads this week than we did all of August. So again, that doesn't say much for August, but you guys have been great. I really appreciate it. It seems to be catching on. I still think it's a real outside shot to get to 2,000. I'm going to be thrilled if we get to 1,800 subscribers. Over 100 subscribers in the last couple of weeks. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We will start previewing these bowl games, and they will come fast and furious. And, of course, in tomorrow's episode, we will preview this ball game, South Alabama against Western Michigan. All right, let's talk about Gio Lopez staying with the Jaguars. He is in Montgomery. He's going to play quarterback for South Alabama in the bowl game on Saturday. And they caught up with him on the news, and he said, I'm happy in Mobile. I know the system. I want to get better. Some people are in it for the money. I don't know if he's talking about anybody specific. That could be anybody. I don't know if he's talking about Fluff Bothwell, but I don't know if it doesn't matter. He stayed in Mobile, and that is such huge news for South Alabama. We'll get to Fluff here in a second. That's tremendous news because now South Alabama, along with Arkansas State, are got to be your prohibitive favorites heading into, the preseason next year. All right. We don't know what Walker Howard is, right? He has not played a whole lot of football over the last 3 seasons. We don't know who Texas State's quarterback is going to be. We presume Troy is going to be a little bit better. So we'll look for more improvement from Troy, and we'll see what ULM did, right? I mean, they started out really well, but then fell apart in the other direction. And we'll presume that Southern Miss is going to get better with Charles Huff there. But now you have both juniors, by the way, Gio Lopez and Jalen Raynor, both juniors. And that is a huge deal for South Alabama. You can build something now. And again, we like that. Right now, Butch Jones is going to be with Jalen Raynor, quarterback, together 3 years. That's almost unprecedented in college football these days. And technically, so is Gio Lopez and Major Applewhite, right? Their first year together. Major was the offensive coordinator with South Alabama, and now he's going to be the head coach for 2 straight years. And Gio Lopez will be coming back there to be the starting quarterback next season. And that is tremendous news. Now about Fluff. And Craig Stevenson from AL.com made a great point. Like, how did all these Power 5 schools or Power 4 schools, as the case may be, swing and miss on him? Because, it was not like Colin Lacey, who was a, small running back at a small private high school in Mobile who didn't get a lot of play coming out of high school and turned into a wide receiver that ends up here in Louisville. Craig said he rushed for like 5,000 yards in his last 2 seasons combined. And now he's got numerous offers that he's heard from, since he's entered the portal. We'll see where he goes. Apparently he's coming to Louisville for a visit as well. And if you can cash in, you can cash in. I do have a question, though, and I don't understand why this is the deal. All right. And so we've heard a lot about these NIL agents as of late. And you also hear about the NFL agents. NFL agents get 3%. Now, that's 3% of a lot of money, right? Or Major League Baseball agents, right? If you're Juan Soto's agent, and you're getting 3% of $670 million or whatever it is until he opts out, that's a lot of money. All right. If you're Fluff and you're getting a couple $100,000, 3% is not a ton of money. And yet they are taking like 15, 20, 25%. And I don't know why anybody would do that. Just say no. I'm going to go get an agent that's going to find me a good deal. Find me actual NIL deals, not just getting paid to go to the school. Go get me a car dealership deal. Go get me a fast food sports bar deal. Go get me whatever the case may be. We can't think of something with Fluff. I mean, what an easy name to get something for. And then you can go get your 10% on that. But, again, and anybody who's listening, and I'm sure it's too late, and I have no idea what players watch or listen to this, please get attorneys. All right. I don't know if people know about this, but apparently the Tulsa players were all promised money that they never got. The Tulsa coach was fired. And after he was fired and heard the players said he promised them all money, he goes, yeah, there was no money. You guys got to get a contract signed before you go there. All right. You want me to come to your school? Here is the NIL deal. All right. Now, it may be you get a certain amount of money for this. You get a certain amount of money for that. Right. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. Was it Ben Bell? Is that it? The defensive end for Texas State? He apparently played in 4 ball games. He got an NIL deal and then redshirted and now is leaving. So does he get all of his money? That seems to be a little bit off. So it's got to be a two-way street, right? It's got to be equitable for both. Usually it's equitable for the people who are paying more than the player. The player is always the one who seems to, for lack of a better phrase, get screwed. And because the NCAA is asleep at the wheel, there are no formal or legal guidelines. I think those are coming once we figure out, all right, if you're in the transfer portal, you can go one time. All right. You can go a second time if your head coach changes. All right. You can't go within the conference or else you got to sit. And if you do leave a second time without the coach getting fired, you have to sit a year. All right. And it can't be open, twice, right? It's open now, and then it's going to open up after spring because, you didn't make first team. I heard people say, it should come after bowl games, and too bad if you can't enter into school now, or it's too late because school starts in some places right after the new year. You got to enroll in school really early. Well, too bad. You go do football next year. All right. So somewhere along the way, we are going to get these guidelines and rules to work by. But right now it is absolutely the wild, wild west. So the big news is that the Jaguars are getting the quarterback back. Big news. They always seem to have wide receivers. I think Devin Voisin is coming back. And I think that's tremendous as well. They'll find another running back. I don't think McReynolds. I think McReynolds is out of eligibility, but I think they'll be fine. And they'll probably get some guys from the portal. Gio Lopez is as exciting young quarterback as you can find in the Sun Belt. All right. So that was tremendous news for South Alabama on Wednesday. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, we'll talk about the ramifications of the portal. Some guys just are not leaving. It is truly unbelievable. We'll do that when we come back after I tell you about Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Your priority, you get those game time picks. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. All in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Get those views. You can see the panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, and you get that lowest price guarantee. Or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference, and you get that Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Saw this tweet. I don't think I can bring it up. But I did send it to my nephew, and I'll get the tweet handle. Kendall Baker sent it out. And this is 2017, Trevor Lawrence, Cartersville High School. Cam Rising, Newberry Park High School. 2018, Trevor Lawrence, Clemson. 2019, Clemson. 2020, Clemson. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, probably Jaguars for 25. Cam Rising, University of Texas, 2018. Utah in 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. All right, although that's not really only the portal one time. Although in terms of the portal, I mean, that is the, what is it? Let's see here. Van Wilder, right? Process of college. I mean, is that, how many years in school is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got to have 3 degrees. He's got to could get a PhD. I guess good for Cam Rising, taking advantage of it. All right, student athlete, get someone to pay for your education. That's a good job by him. In terms of the portal, though, Eric Gilbert has been to a few schools, right? LSU, I'm not even sure he lasted a year there. I'm not even sure he got on the field for Georgia, and now he's leaving Nebraska. TJ Finley, the same thing, right? TJ Finley was at LSU, then Auburn, then Texas State, little drama at Texas State last year, and then Western Kentucky, and then now he's leaving Western Kentucky. I mean, I think he was in LSU when I was in Baton Rouge, when I was in Lafayette the first time around. So is that 2018? God, again, that's a long time too. That can't be right. No, I don't think that can be right. But compared to what Gio Lopez says, I want to learn the offense. I want to, get better. So we've seen Joe Burrow, transferred, but that was before the portal, right? And Jaden Daniels took advantage of the portal. That may have been like the first year of it. That may have been the first year of the portal. Because I'm just trying to think of guys that have, Cam Ward taken full advantage of it. But has anybody done it where they've moved twice? Because moving once seems to have worked. Has anybody moved twice? Because guys moving multiple times does not seem to have worked. I can't think of one off the top of my head. If you guys do, let me know. All right. I can't think of anybody who's moved more than once. I mean, Kyle McCord, we'll see what happens with him, right? He moved one time. I'm not sure why he's not going to the Senior Bowl, but, he only led the nation in passing, or at least passing yardage. So that worked out for him. Trying to think of anybody who has, we'll see Walker Howard, I guess. Walker Howard has transferred twice. All right. He started out at LSU and then Ole Miss, and now he's with the Cajuns. So we'll see. That has yet to be determined. But that just happened, obviously. Super genius. Anybody else off the top of our list here? Right. Caleb Williams, he transferred once. Baker Mayfield transferred once. Stenson Bennett the fourth, but was that before the portal? That seemed to be before the portal. He was like junior college and he was a walk-on. It was like a walk-on, went to junior college, came back, something like that. But that was before the portal, I believe. Or maybe I'm getting the portal confused with NIL. Maybe that's the case. But they used to have no rules for the portal, and then they try to set up rules for the portal. So, but somewhere along the way, you're going to have, I'll put it this way. Teams are going to come up with their own rules for the portal, as these coaches have been, right? We told you what Kenny Dillingham said for Arizona State. You have to go into the portal now. Don't make any mistake about it. Go into the portal, and we'll help you with the portal. All right. If you want to go play somewhere else, we'll try and find you a good fit. Meanwhile, you're going to practice with us. All right. Let's not go on visits just yet. All right. If we need to set up Zoom calls, we'll set up Zoom calls. All right. And then somewhere along the way, we will take care of you to go to the portal. And that's what Major Applewhite said. And two different things, right? One is not playing for a couple of weeks and could be playing multiple weeks, whereas Major Applewhite, South Alabama Jaguars are playing on Saturday. So if you want to go in the portal, you can go in the portal. But if you want to play and practice, you're welcome to do that. Go on your visits next week. So that's much easier for Major Applewhite to deal with. Whereas, Kenny Dillingham's going to have to, you almost have to, how do you make time for that, right? Can you fly out on a Saturday? You fly out on a Saturday after a game? Do you fly out after whenever they play? Do you fly out on a Sunday and come back on a Monday? That's a little rough because what if they play all the way until January, right? So that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out for some of those players. But we are going to find out the ramifications. First of all, how are these guys, any of them, getting degrees, right? We've heard about some players that had issues. They were going to go to that school, but they couldn't transfer their credits, so they didn't go to that school. And now they're going to go to a third school. And how many of these guys going to a third school are ending up in the NFL? Now they need a job. And there's some jobs that you need the college degree for, right? Can't teach without a college degree for the most part, I think is the case, right? So there are certain things you need a college degree for. There's other ones that you don't. There's plenty of jobs out there that you don't need a college degree for. But if you end up going to school for 4, 5, 6 years and you don't get the college degree, that's going to have ramifications that doesn't look good on you. And these guys can't build a program. And again, that's why it's so big that Jalen Raynor is going back to Arkansas State for 3 years, and Gio Lopez is going to be in South Alabama for 3 years. I mean, both of them could be there for 4 years, for that fact of the matter. I'm not sure if either one of them is a NFL prospect. Maybe both of them are CFL prospects. Wider field, both really good athletes. So we'll see about that. But it is the portal is rough for everybody because everybody goes into it. Everybody thinks you have money coming your way. More than half of the people going into the portal don't come out of the portal because, the music stops and there's no more spots left. And it gets to be brutal. And this doesn't only hurt the guys who left school, but it hurts the high school recruiting as well. Because now we don't have to go get those offensive linemen or defensive linemen that may or may not pan out. We know what these guys can do, and they've already matured physically. it has a lot of ramifications, and someone's got to get a hold of it, and it's not going to be Congress. If the NCAA or college sports is waiting for Congress to get a hold of it, it is not going to happen. Although someone, I guess the state legislature in Ohio said, we're making it a felony to put a flag on the field. All right. Wonderful. Time well spent. All right, let's take a time out. Let's check out what happened in Sunbelt Hoops. A few games. Raging Cajuns game is going on as we speak. I'm not sure how well it's going, but we'll check in on it. I'm not sure it'll be done by the time we're finished here. We'll check in on it anyway. Let's take a time out. When we come back, we'll talk about Sunbelt Hoops right after I tell you about FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right. Let's check out the hoops. And I think I was wrong when I said the Cajuns were at home for like 12 of the 13 first ball games. I think they played a tournament in the islands. And although they've only had one true road game, and that was at Houston, which didn't go their way, 91-45. But they played in the Paradise Jam, where they lost all 3 ball games, Liberty, Georgia Washington, and UAB. That doesn't change the fact that, so 12 out of 13, so that means 3 more. So that's 9 out of 13 games are at home. And so far you've won 1. You're 4.5 point favorite over Southeastern, and now the game is tied 49 all under about 11 minutes left to go. Southeastern is a grand total of 4-5 and 2-4 on the road. Not really good. All right. Bob Marlin's contract, I guess, goes through 26-27. Again, Chanticleers is hurt. That was the best player. I think was Hardy coming back tonight. Let's see what we got for the box score. Is it Brandon Hardy? It is Brandon Hardy. He's actually played a little bit. He's got 4 points. Doesn't have the minutes. 1 for 4, which was a 3-pointer and a free throw. Still, not a whole lot of people in double figures. They are struggling offensively, are the Cajuns. All right, let's see what else we got here in the Sun Belt in college basketball. Cajuns are looking at going 1-9. Monroe is on their way to a victory over Arkansas Pine Bluff, leading 86-71 with just about a minute left to go. So that'll be Monroe's 4th win. Arkansas Pine Bluff is 2-8 and 0-8 on the road. But again, any way you can get it is good to see. Marshall loses on the road to Wright State. Marshall drops to 5-5. They have not won on the road yet this year. They lose 88-79 to Wright State. Wright State hasn't lost at home. Wright State improves to 7-5. They are 4-0 at home. And Coastal Carolina, they're 5-5. They beat Southern Virginia 82-57. Coastal Carolina now 3-1 at home. Let's see if there's any action tonight. Arkansas State hosting former Sun Belt foe UT Arlington. Arkansas State coming off that huge upset against Memphis and a win over Jackson State, but they hadn't played well in a minute. They'd beaten Indiana State, but lost to Rice, lost to Hofstra, and snuck past Jackson State. And so now they get UT Arlington, but then they get a big game against UAB on the 15th. And that is on Sunday. So that's a big ball game for Arkansas State. All right, let's see what other ball games we got. See if we got anything on Friday. La Tech hosting Georgia Southern. All right, we were over the schedule yesterday. It's always good to recap it. La Tech is having a good season. They're 8-2, 2-1 at home. Georgia Southern, remember, they started out 0-12. So 6-4 doesn't look great until you remember last year they started out 0-12. And they're 1-3 on the road. See if they can get a big win on the road in Ruston. And then, of course, you have a full slate on Saturday. The big game is Southern Miss is going to Ole Miss. Southern Miss struggling on the road this year. You got a nice Marshall versus Ohio ball game. Seems about it. Cajuns hosting Lamar. That may not go the Cajuns' way. And on Sunday, you do have UAB hosting Arkansas State. I think we have next week. We have Sun Belt ball games. Monday is a big ball game. South Alabama is taking on TCU in Fort Worth. That's a big ball game on a Monday night. Auburn hosting Georgia State. Good luck to the Panthers. Auburn, one of the best teams in the nation. But I believe on Wednesday, right, the Cajuns are hosting App State. That is the Sun Belt opener. Wow. All right. So the Sun Belt opener is a week from yesterday. All right. I'm actually recording this on a Wednesday. So Louisiana is hosting App State. And then that weekend, that Sunday, Will Wade is coming in to take on and his McNeese Cowboys. Let me see what they are at. They may not be. Yeah, they've been struggling. They're 5-4. They lost to Liberty by 4. They lost to Santa Clara. The teams they have played. I mean, the best team they've played is Alabama, and they played them tough. They lost by 8 to Alabama. South Dakota on the road. All right, they lost by 7, but they beat Biblical Studies. They can't find anybody to play. No one will play them. They beat North Texas. They beat Illinois State. That's not bad. They beat Latorno. Latorno Yellow Jackets. Is that like in Canada? I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, Division III. They're playing Division III schools. So and they are actually playing Mississippi State. Is that at home? McNeese has got Mississippi State. Oh, no. Oh, Magnolia Madness. No, it's actually at, it appears it is in Tupelo. It is in Mississippi. Okay. That's a different podcast. I got carried away there. All right. We will preview South Alabama and Western Michigan for Friday's episode. And we'll be doing Mondays and Tuesdays episode, and Wednesday's episode, I guess, as the case may be, from Mama Schultz's house. So we're going home for a couple of days coming up. So hopefully everything will be fine there. We'll have the setup there. Not that big of a deal. Again, thank you so much. Let's see if while sitting here for a half an hour recording, if we actually gain another subscribers. It was 1754 when we started, and let's see if it went up one. It did not. All right, but still, we'll have well over 1,000 views. Probably somewhere around 1,500 views for the day. It's amazing. I never thought it would get this this crazy this fast over one coaching search, but it was an insane coaching search. All right, and we're still trying to get all the coaches on. Again, I've heard back from Southern Miss. I've heard back from App, Have not heard back from Marshall. I will follow up when I start to see the coaches in the media. I have not seen them do any local media just yet. So once that happens, I'll follow back up. Again, Southern Miss and App State do take good care of me. So I'm not worried about them forgetting about me. So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. We will be back again on a Friday. All right. This has been Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Thanks again for watching. Have a great Thursday, everybody. And once again, we will talk to you on Friday.